Hello, Chinook and Steelhead members. Bob Reese here with the Guides Forecast, giving you a forecast for tomorrow, Thursday, August 26th, the last day of Chinook retention from Tongue Point to Buoy 10. It's, I don't know if it's going to be that crowded. This closure came in pretty rapid fashion. The meeting was today. Staff recommendation was adopted. And so tomorrow is going to be the last day of retention. There were more Chinooks moving to the river today. There was a good batch of fish in the deep water, 40 to 50, 55 foot of water on the Washington side from the bridge down to the Chinook wing jetties. Not many people took advantage of that. I slept in today, so I still look like this after sleeping in. My apologies. But I will be getting up early tomorrow, so just think how bad I'm going to look tomorrow at this time. But folks did, a few folks got to take advantage of that. One guide friend in particular had a really good day and kind of got all his Chinooks by about 9:30. So that's my plan for tomorrow. So Washington side, below the bridge, 40 to 50 foot of water, outgoing tide. Our fish, the biters we're getting mostly are between 20 and 35 on the line counters, but he did catch some Chinook down on the bottom of the river. We call that on the deck, and he runs a lot of blue label herring. I'm going to run anchovies, and had good fortune with a spin fish before we broke it off today after hooking a second Chinook. Those spinfish are hard to come by. These are the 4-inchers that I've been doing pretty good on for Chinook. And that bite, despite the fact that the outgoing tide will be ripping through there 4 or 5 miles an hour during peak ebb, those Chinook for some reason are still biting, despite everything we preached over the years about how they don't bite a fast moving bait. But it's probably just an indication there's a lot of Chinook in the river. So the other Chinook strategy today, which should have application tomorrow as well, was along Social Security Beach there, fishing the red buoy line, last trickle of outgoing tide, last hour of outgoing tide. There were Chinook over there as well, and some guide boats did pretty good. So I was disappointed not to see the Chinook at the Buoy 11 to Buoy 10 troll late in the tide. You might get more of that before this forecast is over. And there was really no bite on the first part of the flood as well, either for Chinook. A few coho caught at the Buoy 10 line. But man, I only had one Chinook in the box at noon, and the ocean was looking very tempting. The quote from another guide buddy of mine who did go out in the ocean, he went out early and it was kind of rough and choppy, but it seemed to lay right down at low slack and incoming tide. He got him on the green line. Didn't find him on the red line this morning. Got him on the green line between buoys 3 and even buoy 7 to buoy 3 and buoy 3 to buoy 1. He said they were, quote, biting like piranhas. And again, a pretty good grade of coho. So the ocean will probably be an option tomorrow as well. We're still on a pretty strong outgoing tide, so the bar could be, I actually did not look at the bar, the weather forecast, what the swell is supposed to be, but I think swell and wind are somewhat calm. I think we're even supposed to possibly have some rain tomorrow. So from a weather perspective, we could have pretty favorable conditions for fishing out in the ocean, and the coho are clearly out there. So, keep in mind a couple things is that coho will probably continue to be strong out in the ocean. Hard to say when the quota will be met, but we're at greater than 80% of the quota right now. Chinooks can be retained in the ocean, but you cannot come back into the river with an ocean caught Chinook and fish in the Buoy 10 reach with a dead ocean caught Chinook in your box, you do open yourself up to a violation that way. So same rings true for the above tongue point fishery, which will remain open past tomorrow. You can't go and catch your Chinooks above tongue point and legally go downstream and target cohos in the buoy tent reach with those dead Chinook, even though they were caught above tongue point in your fish box. So be cognizant of that regulation parameter there. And then the rest of the day, there was a few fish at Hammond. I don't know if that bite's going to go the Hammond hover or not. The incoming tides are getting weaker, so those aren't the best strategies. We started catching fish in the shallow water up close to the bridge there. One of my friends called me in on a bite, and we started about at the red roof on the shallow sands, kind of south of where most people troll in that 20 to 30 foot line there. And we were in 15 and 16 foot of water and doing the upstream troll, with anchovies and spinfish weren't working well late in the tide. Matter of fact, our spinfish, besides the Chinook we caught in the morning, were not folding over on coho, and there was a lot of coho on those shallow flats, both below and above the bridge. And these mediocre tides are really the times that you want to do that type of strategy, is trolling the sand flats and trolling the Desdemona tongue on those medium incoming tides. We didn't troll the tongue today, it crossed my mind, but if they were up high at the bridge, both below and above the bridge, and I think we had 3 doubles doing that shallow water troll for coho there, they certainly should have been on the tongue point, lower tongue point. Upstream troll as well. So that might be a good strategy to employ tomorrow instead of waiting it out to see if they're going to come through on the rip at buoy 10. So, my plan tomorrow, I'm going to shoot over to the bridge on the Washington side, do the deep water downstream troll for Chinooks. If things go my way, hopefully we'll wrap up our Chinooks early, and then look to get in on some of that coho action that's been happening the last couple of days at the Desdemona light marker. So that's breakfast at 11. Probably not, but anyway, a guide can dream, and he can certainly take a nap, but not tomorrow. Thursday night is newsletter night, so we'll put more detail in there on some of the other fisheries, and hopefully these video reports are doing you folks well. We got a lot of good feedback on them, and that'll make the Columbia River report. I'll add that the above tongue point fishery, as I mentioned, will remain open. I have another acquaintance that's fishing a little downstream of Longview, fishing off the beach using some sort of sandbag method I've never heard about before. I'm going to have to get more information from the Sultan of Selwood about that. But he's rowing wobblers out on his kayak, and they are catching a lot of Chinook up there. So, the wobbler fishery, even though it's not, wobbler fishery isn't, what it used to be from an effort perspective. He's consistently catching fish nearly every day off the beach with his wobblers, with his grandson and his wife. So, Sultan, keep up the good work. John Schmalenko. Hit the sack. Hopefully I don't look this terrible tomorrow, but good luck out there. Last day of Chinook season. See you on the water.